Let me clear my throat. Too late. Well, everybody, welcome to the Cash Flow Empire every Tuesday night where we come together. We network. We love to bring operators, amazing individuals like Neander, just to come talk to everybody and to give back to the community, to talk about their experiences and the good, the bad, the ugly about, multifamily. I know most of us are masterminds where they like to pitch us the beautiful things about, multifamily and how easy it is to create financial freedom. Well, what we like to do on the Cash Flow Empire is just what I like to say is to talk about the dirty, ugly truth. So we allow you guys to come up here and to ask questions and literally engage with our speakers. So that being said, tonight we do have our great friend, not even a guest. He's our great friend, our great buddy, who's out of Dallas, Neander Lima, man. Welcome tonight, brother. Thank you for coming.
Hey guys, what's going on? And once again, thank you so much for getting me to the show. We had a pre-existing relationship, but when these guys came here to our podcast, and we just literally fire, was we call it the fire table, and it was such a blast to see what those guys are going. I remember when Jonathan started with the program with Brad with me, and to see the growth that he's getting is just amazing, tremendous. I'm super stoked to be here tonight and share with you guys my experience. And if you, and that's what it's all about, is through experiences and other people's testimonies is where we get inspired to do what we're in this business for.
Perfect. Let's start the call like this, Neander. So let's everybody know who you are, Neander. So how is that? Where are you coming from, man? And how did you get involved in real estate in general?
Yeah, try to make it quick for my little story. So how many of you knew what you want to do as career-wise since you were a kid? Let me see a show of hands. How many of you, when you're a little kid, you're certain what you want to do? Yeah, so I had a dream to be a musician. I'm originally from Brazil. I was born in Brazil, city called Belo Horizonte, and around the area, Minas Gerais. And I always wanted to be a musician. That was my biggest dream. But, some of our parents, they don't like the musicians. They think, oh, musicians are broke. You're never going to make it. You're just going to be drinking and then not going to make any money playing the bars. Well, that was kind of true. But that was my biggest dream. I came to the United States when I was 14 years old, and I started my career here. It was very tough beginnings. My mom and dad and sister and I slept in one bedroom apartment, and that was a C-class apartment. We all slept on the floor in the same room in their beginnings until we start picking up in the United States. Soon I went to high school, and I became to work as a sound engineer for a company. And that was my career. But I always neglected my music career because my parents always taught me that musicians wasn't good enough. I would play in churches and I still play. I was a musician, but I couldn't be a professional musician because I have that block. My parents, my entire family said musicians are no good. Have you seen the movie Coco where they said the music is no good? The Disney movie? It was kind of similar. But I played in churches my entire life, but my career was engineering. I was one of them that designed the Twin Peaks restaurant and Gloria's restaurant here in Dallas, Texas, if you guys in Dallas. So that was my career for a long time. I got pretty burned out with the business of being an entrepreneur and stuff, and I sold my company in 2016. And I told to myself, you know what? I am just gonna pursue my music career. Got rid of everything, got rid of my apartment, and I started playing salsa and bachata music in the saxophone. So I was the new Carlos Santana playing bachata music. Dude, that was really awesome. That kind of took off because there was not many saxophone players playing the melody, into the salsa, the Latino world. So man, I had a beautiful career. It was awesome. I toured in many countries and many cities. I became, like, if you Google my name, Neander Lima, you'll be able to see some videos there. But the interesting fact of that, I met my wife through traveling, and we actually met going to a cruise until we got married. My wife got pregnant, and the traveling now was a big deal. Traveling to all those gigs. Sometimes I had to cover 3 cities in the weekend. And, at the time I met my wife, we had one single family home, and she never lived into this place that she bought. and she had tenants. And those tenants were just enough covering the mortgage. She was actually losing $100 a month on the single family. I had sold my business and I want to get rid of the music career because it was true. I was making actually good money on the music career, but it was not what I want. Was, you know, I have this dream of mine that was to be a musician, but when I really got stepped in it, the traveling for me was a big deal. When you have fun playing something, it's okay, but when you start becoming your job, that you have to go and do things, the obligation, that was nothing that I wanted. And so she has one single family, and we're like, how can we scale this? As I was traveling in Dallas, Texas, somebody invited me to be Brad started his 6 years ago. Brad didn't have the same production that he had now, and he was a smaller event. But they asked me for me to provide music within the breaks of his event, the Rat Race to Retirement. So people were there to learn about how to buy apartments. And then whenever it had a break, I would play a little bit of music. So it was kind of the entertainment. Remember, I was a musician. For the first time in my life, I was sitting in a room that I heard about financial freedom, about investing, about cash flow, about building the empire. I was never taught this in my entire life. It was literally that moment, what I call the best gig of my life, because it was life-changing. You know, it was life-changing to be exposed to that. So I was actually sitting on the booth there in the DJ booth, and I was taking notes of everything he was saying. That was awesome. So when I got home, I told my wife, oh my God, we got to do this thing. This was great. We have some money saved. You have a real estate, one house, like we're going to do this. So, you know, we went to Boston, and we, for our single family, we legalized the basement at the time. And we're now cash flowing $1,000 a month just by legalizing the basement and got new tenants on. And then we sign up for mentorship. You know, as y'all know, it's very hard. Underwriting, putting offers, getting rejected. And we're getting, you know, frustrated until we got a call from a broker. It's like, hey, I have this off-market deal. Why don't you guys look at it? We went to walk the property. It was right off the bat, 147 units, multifamily. Man, we took massive action. We were ready because guess what? All the frustration of the deals, and some of you are starting now and putting offers and getting rejected. Every deal, you put so many hours. You put like probably 40 hours into underwriting, doing, you know, all the market survey and all the business plan, what's the different angles and all that stuff. And to receive a call is like, sorry, you didn't win the deal. It's very frustrating, very. Y'all can testify, I'm sure. But every single deal that you lose, you learn something. You learn about a different market. You learn about a different angle. You learn about something new. You know, and that's what we did. So whenever that deal came to fruition, we had an angle that nobody had, which was that they have a clubhouse that was the detached. We converted, and our business plan was to convert that into a 4 units. And you guys know, adding 4 units to the property, it would just change your numbers like completely. But that was the angle. So we got awarded the deal. It was great. At the time, now is the next problem, right? How am I going to raise $5 million? And that was our first raise. And like, obviously we're partnering with other people, but I never had raised before. And this is where we are today. We did it. We got some partnerships, and here we are today in a contract with our 5th property between all of our investors, between LP and GP, over 2,000 units, 750 of our own GPs. And it's just been great. I love this industry, and I'm, you know, again, super happy to be here and share with you guys my story.
That's amazing, man. I like that you said the reason why is because you when you said that you were in the booth taking notes, you were basically, you didn't have to buy a ticket to do that, man. I mean, weren't they paying you to go take, and you're up here taking advantage of the opportunity. I went to an event, and John, I don't know if you remember this, with Grant Cardone, and he was like, he's all like, guys, I don't care if you have to serve water to be in the room and listen. by all means, serve water to be in the room. And I think that was a unique opportunity you took advantage of that maybe a lot of people wouldn't have. How did you, I mean, what you've done in the amount of time that you did is just like, man, you would have figured you've been in the game for like 10, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Just as fast as you're moving. And obviously me and Jonathan have been to your studio, and we admire that. We love that. We love the environment that you and your team have created. For somebody that's just here tonight, man, and that's just listening to your story right now, what advice do you give them just right off the bat, just to just say, let's go, let's do this?
Yeah, I mean, don't miss the opportunity. Sometimes we think, especially when you start getting to places and you'll be like, oh, I'm not gonna go to this event, not go to this meet up. But sometimes that could be an opportunity there and to be honest, when I got called to play in a stupid real estate investing conference, I was not very excited. Not at all. But guess what? I went. And that changed my life at that time. You know what I mean? And sometimes you would be like, oh, I'm not going to show up to this meetup, and I'm showing up to the Cashflow Empire meetup. And then you miss the opportunity to meet somebody or to listen from somebody. And that could change your life, could change the trajectory of your career to your anything. Me going to a cruise, that's where I met my wife. What if I didn't go? You know what I'm saying? So I do believe on that we have to take all the opportunities and just go for it. You know what I'm saying? And when you see the opportunity, you just take massive action. That has been my approach, and that is what I encourage you guys to do, is just to take action.
Perfect. Okay. No, that was awesome. And really, your story, Neander, really remind me a lot of things, right? Because that's actually, how it was a little bit. We're kind of similar, but you mentioned earlier, Neander, about just being consistent, right? Even if you didn't see results in your journey, right? And this is probably that happened to us, and I know that is happening to some of our partners and some other people. So what advice do you have for those individuals that they want to get those things quick, and then they just get discouraged and then just stop doing it because they don't see results? So what advice do you have for them?
Yeah, everything in life, I believe the consistency is key, right? You don't need to be good at something at first, but you have to say, this is that is hard right now. I read a book too. I have two children. I have two little girls. One of them is 5 and the other one is 2. And my wife is Asian, so they're half Asian, half Brazilian. They're super cute. But there is a book that I read to them, that I found this book that it called the bubble gum brain and the brick brain, because it compares the bubble gum brain. Sorry, in English, you guys can know, English is my second language. Okay, bear with me here. So the bubble gum brain is the brain that stretch and adapt to certain circumstances and shapes. The brick brain is the one that doesn't change, right? And that's what perseverance, like, when you see something challenging in front of you, it's like, let me be a bubblegum brain to adapt, to stretch. This might be hard right now, but if I put time on and dedication, it definitely would do it. I compared even music. I was talking to Italo the other day about how musicians, when Italo started playing, 3 years ago, Italo, plus or minus? Yeah, he started playing, and as soon as he picked up the guitar, I was like, come on, man. I mean, this guy is learning guitar right now. I made fun of him. But this guy who's pushing, he was training every single day. And now, dude, he's just playing awesome. He's playing with me. He's playing, and like I see he's playing. His social media is full of him playing and stuff. It's super awesome. He's a guy to play. I was saying repetition is the mother of perfection of doing it. So on the deals, as far as deals now in apartments, right? First of all, we have to think about your mindset, your confidence of like, this deal probably is really big right now, but what do I have to do to get there? And underwriting is a big deal, underwriting and putting all those offers, and it's very frustrating, as I mentioned. But if you keep doing it, you always will learn a new angle. and leverage it out with other teams and being on events like this that you learn from each other, you find a nugget and you ask for help and you keep pushing, eventually you will do it. I tend to say that things that come too easy doesn't have value, right? So, think about this. When you do work so hard for something and you get, let's say a competition, gonna run, right? 5K. Say you have to compete and you work so hard, you train so hard. When you win that trophy, you know what you have to go through to win that. So it has a lot of value versus that, oh, I just wake up one day and just won the race. Maybe you're too talented, maybe it would happen, but majority of us would not. And that's what comes with the, that persistent of keep fighting, keep pushing, one more thing, one more day, one more underwriting, one more deal, one more offer, and then things are gonna come.
Okay, we have a question from Joshi. You want to go, Joshi, and ask your question?
Yes, there was a question in the chat asking, how did you raise your first 5 million on your first deal?
How to raise my first 5 million. All right, there's one of the most difficult things in this industry, guys. One of them is finding good deals that actually work, especially in current markets, in current circumstances. The second one, and they go both together, is not one more important than the other, they go together, is raising capital. Raising capital is very difficult, okay? So, but it's also a skill set that all of us can learn and master, okay? But a lot of mistakes that people will do, especially, for example, I have tons of friends, and I have the pleasure of working with Brad for 5 years. So I had all these conversations with different people that were coming to the program, and had the privilege of interacting with them and looking at the journey, and I find out a few patterns. So, for example, a lot of doctors, they're doctors their entire career, all right? And then they get into multifamily and they'll be like, okay, now I'm gonna raise money. And then they just go and send an email blast thinking, because they think, oh, I have a lot of doctor friends, they are rich, they have money, they will invest with me. So they assume that they're gonna be able to raise the capital. But the reality is, when you start doing that, they know you as a doctor. They don't know as an apartment syndicator or apartment investor. So what I say to people that is getting to this industry, especially whatever that you're known for, that you are have a construction guide, if you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, and it's like, man, I know a lot of people that could raise money from. Start priming your investors before. Show them your case study. Show them what are you doing before you actually capital raise. And that's the mistake I did. As soon as I got in contract, I sent an email blast to everybody, like expecting the people, oh man, you're a musician, you're freaking broke. Are you raising $5 million now? You're crazy. None of my family members invested with me. None of my friends invested with me in this deal. Nobody from my inner circle invested with me. The people, believe it or not, guys, the people that invested with me, it's people that I didn't know this much. I know of them, but not as close as my friends and family. I raised $0 from friends and family. But the people that didn't know me much, they said it to me, Neander, what does it make you different? I was like, well, I tell you what, I'm gonna fight and I'm gonna work the hardest for this deal to make us successful. I'm gonna be the one they're gonna go there. And if I have to lease freaking units myself and go do trash outs and maintenance, I will be there. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to raise actually majority of the capital when I changed the mindset of, I am going to be that guy. And then obviously the second deal, then the friends and family start being curious of what you're doing, right? And it'll be like, oh, so how is this? Talk to me about this apartment thing. What's going on? And then the third one, and now actually, I have a pool of people that come in and contribute. But that was my story there on capital raising. So I hope I answered the question.
That was great feedback, actually. And if you like what he said, guys, put some fire in the chat. You already know that we like to show some love to Neander tonight. Just because, I mean, this conversations that we're having is extremely valuable. Just because we could relate. Me and Jonathan can relate a lot to what happened to you. And that's why I think we hit it off at first. And if you do have any questions, put them in the chat or raise your hand. You guys know that you're more than welcome to come. And let's see, I think Sergio had a question. How do you change your mindset and how you see yourself out there? I'm assuming in the multifamily space.
Okay, so how do I see myself in the future, going forward, or today? I didn't understand.
Serge, if you want to come up on stage and ask your question, I just
was
kind of
related
read.
with mindset. How do you change your mindset from musician now thinking millions and millions of dollars?
Yeah, the mindset is believing in myself, man, that I could do it. When I started playing music when I was little, I learned how to play it by myself. I want to do it. Didn't have money to pay for a teacher or anything. I just, so whatever that I put my mind into it, that I'm going to do it. I'm going to work the hardest. I'm going to really dip into it. This is going to be my life and I'm going to do it. So first you have to build that confidence that you could do it, anything that you put your mind to it. And that sounds a little cliche, right? Because it's like, okay, so if I want to be an astronaut, I'm going to be an astronaut. No, maybe not, or maybe you will. But what I'm saying is, like, sometimes we see things that is tangible. I never knew that people just like you and I could own apartments. I thought bank owns them. I thought big hedge funds, right? And here I am, this guy from Brazil, whatever, and I'm doing, you could do it as well. But again, we have to believe in yourself, that interconnection first, to be like, I could do it. I am going to do it, and find resources to. Our brains are very powerful to go either the directions to do something or to stop you from doing something. So you have to find tools to first fix your brain. How can I find ways to do, if it is raising capital, you're struggling right now, which is challenging right now. How can I find ways? How can I find other people? How can I leverage other people to help me? If it's finding a deal, how can I get more brokers or people that already be in the deals? So everything that you do, you got to find ways to do it, and you just got to go and do it, and that's what for mindset for me, because again, mindset can be something, everybody talks, you have to change your mindset. But what is mindset? Ask yourself, what is mindset? What is the mindset, And the mindset for me to do something can be something different for you. But it goes back to my point that it's perseverance and just believing in yourself. That's number one.
That was awesome, man. No, that fuego. Yeah, Neander. So you guys see that we're actually talking a lot about, mindset and that you can do it and push you actually staying accountable for you guys. Actually, that's the purpose of this, because those are the steps that we follow, right? It's a 80% mindset, 20% are mechanicals. We got that advice from millionaires, from billionaires. That's why we always start the calls talking about mindset, right? And that's true. Neander, everything what you just say right now is totally true. Because like I remember, our first conversation, man. I see you killing it, with your podcast, your show, and everything. How is that you structured your company right now to be, like construction and multifamily together? But I see a lot of technical, like mechanical question right now. So let's talk a little bit about your company and how is that you are now merging together the construction and also the multifamily. What advantages did you find by doing that? If you want to share that with everybody.
Sure. Well, we all talk very often about getting deals, buying deals, and acquiring doors and such, but very little people talked about what happened after the fact that we close on those deals, right? How do you operate? How you manage? It's a total different game. I feel like it's almost like a total different game for the capital raising, finding deals, and marketing by somebody that implement that business plan and run the deals, the asset management. So you quickly find out that it's just very challenging too. You know, sometimes even more challenging. As current times right now, some people are struggling, especially on the operations, because, you know, we all know that a lot of the prices of cost of things just going up to the roof. One of the things for us when we encounter in our first apartment, one day I go visit the property and we, you know, we have a lot of units to turn around. As you know, part of the business model, the tenants moved out, we're going to renovate those units, and then we turn around for the rent, put them back in the market to lease. And then I go to the property and I see like 15 units being remodeled. And I look at those guys, because we have, you know, as far as staffing on a property, we had a property manager on site, we had a assistant leasing, somebody that just do leasing phone calls. We had a make-ready guy, lead maintenance guy, and our porter. So we have like total of 5, sometimes 6 people in the property. For a property is 147 units. It's not, you know. And I go in there, they're all hanging out. I open one of the apartments while they're working on it. They have the salsa music and they're like taking breaks. You know how it is, Sergio, the construction guys, right? They're taking the time, you know, and I see all those units not getting turned, and we're getting turnarounds times of 15 days to turn the unit down. And I was like, what the hell is going on? I was driving me crazy. Because of my background, I also have background in, you know, contractor work, and I knew what I was supposed to do it. It's like, oh, that was killing me. And then I was making some math. So it's like right off the bat, what if I hire a company that I can set up a fixed price and come in and just turn those units? I'm gonna make a template. I'm gonna make one with the team to be like, you know, what colors, what's the painting, what everything that we need to do as a system. So we did that and hired a company to execute it. Man, we're turning units now in 5 business days. 5 business days, we're having units ready. So a light bulb popped in my head. It's like, man, you know what? I am going to open a construction company so I can really execute those things faster. So I did. I hired a few guys, because at this time now that the construction company started, I already buying other deals, and now I'm having 3 properties, so I have more volume. That way I can have full-time guys to work. So I did my construction company. And another thing too, part of the construction company, sometimes a lot of the properties, the manager on site, she was having to do ordering paint, ordering blinds. She had to do contractor schedules. She had to enter all those invoices, the manager on site. And I was like, why is the manager doing that kind of stuff? So anyway, my construction company today, what happens, how we operate is this. Somebody give them the 30 days, the 60-day notice to vacate. We receive this as a ticket item. Now the managers go there with the app that we have, and they go inside of the unit. They start checking marks like, oh, how's the condition of the carpet? Mark. And then does it need resurfacing? Some of them we change your countertops, but then once the resurfacing, we'll give an example. Resurfacing, check. And then there's paint, check. Oh, how's the condition of the toilets? You know, they go through the list and then they take pictures. So our construction team now receive that as a ticket item. Just like in a restaurant, you order your food, the kitchen receives the ticket, we receive the ticket. Now it's on schedule. We have all the material, all the paint are ready to go. So tenant moves out, my brother, we're coming in. We're coming in strong, and we tear that thing apart. And you know, 3 to 5 for the basic, that is just like paint, resurfacing, and flooring. We can do 3 to 5 business days really fast, and we get out of there. You know what I mean? And the tenants already, the manager already know that unit is ready, is going to be ready. You know, we push a little bit just in case, you know, the buffer, but we do 10 business days, they're ready to lease again. And they're already sometimes even pre-lease. So our occupancy now on our properties, this one that I'm referring to, Enclave, is 99% to 100% occupied, because I told the managers, I'm going to take all of those duties from you, but please make sure that you take care of this community and you lease the crap out of this property. And she did. So On this property, 147 units, we operate only with 2 people, our manager and 1 lead maintenance guy. That's it. So the payroll costs down. And what happens, guys, on multifamily, when your expenses are low, right? The property values go up. So big deal, big difference, and is changing for us. And then from value from that is now we're doing a little bit more renovations in this new property. We're changing countertops, putting wash and dry connections. So obviously it's not gonna be, the turnaround for that is like about 2 weeks. We're trying to do it less. And we went to China and bought a bunch of stuff in bulk. Now we'll be able to save a lot of stuff. So that is our construction company, a little bit of background here, how that got started.
It's one of my favorite stories, man, just because
You relate.
yeah, we can relate. I have a little bit of construction experience. I've worked for general contractors, I've done some interior finish outs. And I think I agree about what you say, like when not to bash property managers, but like you're like, man, like why is a property manager trying to schedule and dictate, these contractors? Did you ever imagine that you were going to be starting your own in-house construction whenever you got into multifamily syndications?
Definitely not. This is almost was bought to us as an opportunity, and it definitely worked out for both purposes, for the efficiency of all the properties, and that came as an opportunity. There's nothing in my plan. I never thought I was going to do that. That just came about, and it's being tremendous. It's been actually one of our secret sauce was the performers are being so fast and turn around, but I actually help a few other folks to implement the systems that, for this make-ready forms that you make it. It's really, really, really good.
And I just don't think like if you're just getting into this industry, guys, what Neander just did here, he's able to bring so much value to a team by implementing these type of systems. You're able to also cut a lot of cost, correct, Neander?
Yes, absolutely. Cutting the cost is essential because you save time. Because let's put costs on the side, but if you turn those units fast enough that now you're leasing them, they're pre-leased and they're ready to go, that's also a big advantage. And of course, the cost is a big deal. And we were able to do the cost because now we have the guys in-house, and we'd be able to do it at a lower cost. So you might be asking, Neander, so do I need to open a construction company as well to be successful? No, not really. You don't need to. But what I do say that whenever you scale, if you can have somebody on your team, like Sergio, that knows construction, that can be in charge of all the construction. If you're, another guy here that it's very, Sean is also very familiar with construction. You know what I mean? If you're the kind of experience that having one of those folks in your team, definitely that's a very, very good price for you to manage those, and you can even charge a fee for that, to take care of that construction, because it is very time consuming. And if you don't do it right, you're just going to spend a lot more money.
I love it, man. I love it. And I hope you guys are just kind of keeping this into consideration that also by him doing that, you're able to execute these business plans a lot more efficient. You're able to help your investors meet the projections that we're projecting whenever, we're essentially just bringing these opportunities to the table. So Neander, man, I really do tip my hat to you, man, when it comes down to that. So I think it's just amazing what you're doing and what you got going on, brother. So I love it, man. But we do have some questions in the house. Yoshi, do you have another question, or is it something in the chat? Because we have a lot of questions in the chat. That we'll get to those questions shortly. Let's go ahead and Melvin, you want to go ahead and get on stage real quick?
Welcome, man.
Hey, Neander, nice to meet you, man. It was great hearing your story. You bring up the econ adage in terms of economies of scale and vertical integration, man. That's key for overall barriers of success. I applaud you for what you're doing, and I'm watching you on social as well. You're doing some good stuff, man. That's for sure. But hey, I want to ask you a question. You talk about partnerships, right? How you met your wife and things of that nature. right? Everybody's story is different, right? I met my wife in a nightclub, right? Who's now my partner. Best decision. I mean, hey,
And
she almost told me no, but the best decision ended up being for me, man. It's working out pretty well in the trajectory of our journey. My question is, I mean, think about if you hadn't connected with your wife, right? Your spouse, right? Would your place be different from where you are today? I'm just curious because I think about that, right? Had my wife told me get away in a nightclub, right? It could be a lot different. So I'm just curious.
yes, I believe so. And I I know this podcast, like I'm here on stage, obviously, but I can't. I have to give a lot of credit to my wife. I would not be here because we are 50-50 partners in this. I play a big role in this, but she also, play a huge role. I could not do it without her. We form a great team because I'm a and one of them is the left brain, the other is the right brain, right? I'm the artist guy, the visionary, whatever, and she's the numbers driven. You can open that the spreadsheet, man, and you're gonna see some weird stuff, and like she'll geek with you for hours. And she went to Harvard. She on a full scholarship. My wife, so you can tell that she's super smart. But to be honest with you, if I had to do this again without her, I don't know what it would be. Right? Destiny is definitely it happened for us. I'm glad that we did this together, and we started in this business together. So yeah, man.
Appreciate
Maybe
that, man. Thanks for
without her, it
sharing.
wouldn't work for sure. Because
Yeah,
I can see myself doing this without her.
understood. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep.
That was great, and I guess I got to go find myself a wife now.
Take your time, bro.
I will. It was a joke. Gabrielle, welcome to the stage. How you doing? Good to see you, by the way.
Good to see you too. Thank you so much for tonight. What has been your biggest lesson from your journey, and what would you do different?
Good question. Was the lesson learned? There's so many that just to put in perspective. But one of the bigger lesson learned for me, it is to form partnerships earlier. Probably I'll be able to do or I'm talking about capital raising. I'll form partnerships earlier. I could probably be doing bigger deals. I'm just being very transparent. If I would have partnered up with other people and find us connections in the beginning, I kind of want to having this mindset of doing things by myself. But if I would have to partner up with the people, I could probably be twice as bigger or doing bigger deals. So now I am, I just attended this event this weekend. And a lot of my mindset and a lot of my goal is like not just to capital raise, because that is actually working okay for us, but for forming potential future partnerships, people that are good at what they do, that align values with us. And that's one thing about partnerships. The first thing is the values. Are you guys align in values, right? And with that mentality now, I was able to, form good partnerships and potential partnerships that will come to fruition in the future. So that is something that is a lesson learned, is something that I am already applying and doing differently.
That was awesome. Okay, perfect.
Partnership in
great
this deal is
question.
a big deal.
Yes, 100%. Let's go, Jimmy. Do you have any questions for Neander?
Yes. Hi, Neander. Thanks for coming today. Love your story. I have questions on, obviously a lot of people in this podcast also starting new to this business as well, right? What will be your top 3 mistakes that you made, and how do you overcome that in your journey?
Right. So one of the mistakes I did was, like I said earlier, this perfect question is, and I'll just reiterate that, is like form partnerships earlier, not a mistake I did on the capital raising on the beginning is not priming my investors earlier. I waited to get the deal to be like, hey, I got a deal now, let's go. Because then you have limited time when you're in a contract. And the third thing is that whenever you are capital raising, and those are probably more mechanic answers I'm giving you, but things that for me, it was my lesson learned. When I was doing my marketing plan, showing to my investors, right? I was featuring the property too much. I was just trying to sell the property, how beautiful that property was, how potential that property was going to be, and how the property, everybody knew the name of the freaking property because all I said was the freaking property, you know? And then I didn't have any traction until I changed a little switch that, you know, it's about me. I am the investor. I am going to run this property. You know what I'm saying? Together, you invest with us and together we're going to do this. And that changed very quick. And the capital raises start coming a lot easier than just making about the property. People, so this is a piece of advice. Some people come and meet each other in events and meet up and they go very eager to exchange business cards. That does not work. Drop it. Nobody is going to invest with you because you didn't have a connection and you're going to exchange business cards and they're going to invest with you. It doesn't work. It's actually, for me, it's a turn off. If I just met you right now and you're like, hey man, I got this deal, invest with me, give me your business card without us talking first, dude, that would be a huge turn off. I'll never call you. I'll never care. I don't just, you know, probably I'll toss it. I'm just being very honest. You know what I'm saying? But the meaningful conversations that you have and make it about, you know, not the deal, but you and the connection with the people, that's going to go long ways. And that's one of my biggest takeaways that I got from my experience on capital raising.
Awesome. That was a great question, Neander. And yeah, that's the truth. We live the same thing, same experience, man. We just can blasting numbers and this and that and no traction. And then we just focus in actually us and provide value to the people. And they just relate more to you in that way, right?
You know, there's an old saying that says, right, buy me a drink first. It's true. It is true.
Exactly, 100%. 100%. Neander, so let's probably this question is going to be related, you know, with actually, I'm going to talk about your podcast right now.
Let's go.
So how is that? First of all, the question is why you started and what do you get after all this time and all those people connection that you did through your podcast?
Right. Good question. The name of our podcast called The Real Grind. And actually I'm the host and Italo is the co-host. He's right here somewhere in the screen. The reason we started with this podcast is a couple of things, okay? I own a small coffee farm in Brazil. And my family, my cousins, he was named the best coffee of Brazil 2 years in a row by competition. So I can tell you enough how much you love coffee. Sean's kind of looking at me and it's like, I want to get that coffee. But we love coffee and we love real estate. So that's why the name came about, the real estate grind of coffee. And Italo didn't come from the background of coffee, but Tim came to my office today and then he tried this coffee. And once you have it, it's like wine, right? How many of you guys like a good glass of wine? Raise your hand. Right. So when you drink a glass of wine and you start for the $3, $5 bottle of wine, $10, and then you start going up, when you reach to a certain level of wine, it's very hard to get back. It's very difficult, let me tell you. But I don't know, all my range is anyway. So it's very hard to go. It's the same thing with coffee. When you start drinking good coffee, you don't need sugar. You don't need milk, anything. The coffee, it is delicious. It's awesome. You can actually identify some fruit notes into the coffee. Yeah, that you probably your head is twisting right now, but it's true. And real estate is also one of my passions. You know, obviously we're here talking about real estate majority. So that's why we put this together. But why did we put a podcast? There's so many podcasts out there. There's so many options. And I'm just being direct with you guys. What we did this was strategic to get connected with our not just our audience, but with the guests. People, for example, I had a guest that came into our show, one of our brokers, Al Silva. Man, he came in and we built such a connection after he left their podcast. Some other folks and syndicators, like we had amazing connection by him here in person. This is our studio. We do the show right here. And having the in-person connection was great. Now, on the audience perspective, we just gave her credibility. You know, we started in February, we just beginning, but it just gave us some exposure. People actually respect their content. It's like, man, you guys have a podcast. So definitely doing a podcast is not easy, you know, and I think Jonathan and Sergio can testify that even putting this event here is not easy. There's a lot of planning behind. There's a lot of things that you put behind, a lot of thoughts and everything. So it's definitely a lot of work, but it's worth it for business-wise to get your impression, your presence on a social media nowadays, a presence as people like, oh, I listen to the Real Grind show, I listen to the Cash Flow Empire show, you know, and I listen to this podcast, you know, it's a big plus. It helps a bunch. So I recommend it. If you think you can do a podcast, if you have this patience and time is very time consuming, or having a team to help you out, I definitely recommend. It does help. Generating leads from the podcast, not really, but again, it does having that people that are looking for us, then they say, oh, they have a podcast, they have a nice website, they have content, they have this, and you keep showing up more and more and more of that trust you build. Did I answer the question?
100%, 100%. Yes, man. And yeah, just sharing, but it's not easy. And I appreciate you guys at the support. You know, the 65 people that are here and the many people that they have been coming since we started. I think that we have already 35 shows or something like that. So that is amazing. Sometimes we're kind of proud of ourselves, you know, but we know that we have a long way to go. But thank you for sharing, Neander, that from your perspective. But yeah, we have the same mindset, same vision. So that is awesome, man. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. Do you have any questions down there, Sergio?
I do not have a question. No.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to start reading some from the chat, because we actually had a lot, and I don't know. Yoshi,
I got distracted by that. But
Yoshi, do you want to, or how do you want to do it, John?
Yeah, let's start like this, Neander. So I see a lot of people that they show interest in the capital raising, right? And then you shared earlier that at the end, people invest in people, right? So let's talk a little bit about branding. Do you have any tips about branding yourself if you want to get actually that credibility and connection with people?
Sure.
Social media, or maybe there.
Branding is everything, man. I really believer of your self-branding. That could be marketing and branding goes well together, right? The moment that you go to your closet in the morning, you're choosing your clothes to wear, you're already thinking throughout your day, who I'm going to meet, who is going to see me in this clothes, and you're already thinking of that to market yourself, sell yourself, if you will. But for brand, and you know, for the capital raises specifically, I know folks that have been to this interesting for a long time, and the way that they used to raise money is like they get into a contract, they send one email, line email, no logos, no nothing, just a written email with probably 2 paragraphs, how summarizing the thing, and they'll be able to raise the capital for the deal and be done with it. I feel now we're getting more competitive, and I feel that a lot of people are building their brands, building teams, and using CRMs now, and using all that content. And brand is something to back you up, you know, by having a legitimate brand. As you can see here, I'm all about this. This is when I work for Brad, this is what we did the most, is focus on the brand. So if you can see here on my stage, there is my brand here, my brand on the stage, that's my brand on the floor, that's my brand on my shirt, that's our brand with Italo. Like, I believe in that. And by keeping showing up with your brand, psychologically, people already start recognizing that, right? if you think about a soda right now, what logo comes into your mind? Right? Coca-Cola, probably. If you think about a sport, if I do this, what is that? That's Nike, right? Those are brands that keep showing up all the time. Sometimes you don't even know that it's there, but you know it's there because you recognize your brand is already associate that brand with that category. So I believe in that building your strong brand behind you is just also brings trust. So that is my 2 cents on building your brand is very, very, very important, you know, and own it. Once you have a brand, dude, you can go to Vistaprint and it just print a lot of stuff for like hats, shoes. You can do shirts and be an ambassador of your own brand, you know, and that's what the magic happens.
Yes, yeah, we have that those shirts and hats and everything coming up, guys. But yeah, this is important. But before I go to Helen, Neander, how do you see yourself in 5 years, man? Did you ever ask this question to yourself?
Yes, how I see myself in 5 years. Business wise, I'll start with the personal. I feel in 5 years from now, I want to have my participation or my involvement with my companies a little bit less. In 5 years right now, I would like to have a operating CEO on our company. I want you just to come in and overseas. I want to be the asset manager for our companies, right? We do have our active companies right now. We do have Multifamily Empire, Green Empire Landscaping, Empire Construction, ELS, Empire Living Solutions for flooring materials. We have Empire Nation, and those companies, it's going to grow. They're growing, and as we grow more and more, my attention gets hooked to that. And I have, like I said, I shared earlier, I have 2 little children. I have 2 little daughters, right? And my goal is to spend time with them, potentially do a homeschool, and spend more time with them. So I do have a very strategic goal to keep growing, but growing with the team. I believe that having teams is what makes your success. Building strong teams, you know. So a lot of people get selfish. It's like, no, this is all mine. I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna be super rich or whatever. But if you do it with your team and if you empower your team to grow together with you, you'll be able to grow almost exactly the same, leverage other people. And actually, as you grow, instead of working more, you're working less. So that is my goal for the next 5 years. As far as apartment and numbers and deals, probably I want to have, you know, 10,000 units under our management. And yeah.
Let's go, man. Love the answer. Yeah, man. Big goals, right? That's the whole purpose. Just have your vision, have your goals, and it's important for you guys that actually you have a clear goals about. That's why I would like to ask people about, okay, how do you see yourself in 5 years? Because many people, they don't have a goal, you know. So, and you don't have a goal at the end, you cannot like work backwards and be able to actually get there. But yeah, let's go, Helen. I know you have a question, so welcome, Helen.
Hi, Neander. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your time and knowledge with us. I just have 2 quick questions. The first one is about the limiting beliefs, because you know, like you said, when someone finds a great property, that's a really good, like that helps a lot, no, for a multifamily, but at the same time, capital raising. So at the beginning, when you were starting with the capital raising, what were the thoughts or the belief that maybe were holding you from doing it? And maybe you have seen this same limiting belief in other people who have been surrounding you. What would be that? And also the other one is like, what kind of education resource can you recommend us? Maybe a book that you like or a podcast that you hear that really help you, something like that.
Okay, good questions. Thank you so much for asking, Helen. for the capital raising aspect of it, I will share another thing that would help me a bunch. That I was when I got on the phone calls to talk to people about capital raising, I had a feeling that I was cringing. I was like, I almost felt like I was asking for people's money, right? It's like, well, technically you are, but I'll feel like, hey man, this dude's great, you know, instead of just having more of a approach like this is an opportunity. You know what I mean? Because think about it. That first property that I bought, we underwrote it at 85% return at the time, right? And that property get a return now after those years, 150% return. So it's almost double what projected was. I'm not saying this is going to happen to every property, but for somebody that come in and put their money in, and if you have a good solid business plan, a good approach, hands-on, and then you're going to make that money grow for them, it actually it is an opportunity. Of course, there's risk. Of course, you can find different variables. But when you're now offering an opportunity instead of asking, that changes a lot on your body language, on your tone, and your confidence, your posture. And I would recommend, guys, this book that really helped me a lot, and it still helped me. This book called Amplify Your Influence. This is an old book that actually, not this one, but another one I read could say, how do you win friends and influence people? How many people read that one? Basically, it's the same concept, but on today's world, about how it even talks about how do you posture up on a Zoom call? How do you engage with people? How not to cross arms, body language, eye contact, how to say certain things for you to influence people, which is that part where it says influence, it can be in a negative way, but when you talk to somebody and clearly passing your message along, which is, you know, even to your kids, how can I convince my kids to brush their teeth? If I tell them to go brush your teeth all the time, sometimes it doesn't work, right? Some of you are parents here, but if you influence them and show them, hey, let me show you a picture of a person that has a lot of cavities. Look, here's how it looks like. Now they see it and they relate. So that is very powerful. And that's what this book is about, is how to amplify your message for you to connect with people. So I highly recommend, by Rene Gonzalez, how to amplify your influence. Very, very good.
It's posted in the chat, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yoshi, you're a ninja, man. You're awesome. Chad. That's so cool.
Let's give an applause to Joshi. She has been killing it in the chat. Thank you,
Yeah.
Joshi, for all your help. But yeah, guys, that was an awesome, and again, Neander, thank you so much, man, for your time, for being here with us, and then for you guys that are out there, we're gonna do a breakout rooms right now. So do you have a couple more minutes, Neander? I'm sure people want to connect with you a little bit more in a personal level. So let's see who is the lucky one.
Really quick,
Neander.
John.
Yes.
Really quick, can we do something really quick about the I think we're gonna do something for the real grind. Y'all want to do something really cool?
Yeah.
So if y'all can see Italo right now, he's recording the IG followers that he gets on the real grind show.
I love that part.
So Joshi's gonna go ahead and post the link to follow it on Instagram, and as soon as you choose follow, the numbers are gonna go up live. So let's do that quick experiment really quick. Yoshi, if you can post that link, give her about 10 seconds. And let's watch these numbers go up.
That's so cool. Thank you so much.
look at Italo's face. Look at Italo's face.
Yeah, look at Italo's face, and we're here to, you know, just support each other's communities, guys. So we are obviously here to support, but the link is right there. And guys, everybody, we got 60 people in the room. Let's click on the Instagram and watch the numbers go up as you follow. It's pretty cool.
Italo, I want to shout out Italo.
Look at that.
Look.
I got you, Italo. Y'all better have that coffee ready in the morning too.
Yeah.
I know. Holy cow, man. Look at that.
Look at that. Look at the numbers just go up. That's pretty cool, right?
You just made Italo's night. He's been really fighting for those numbers, man. We started this new account for the Rio Grande show, and he's watched that thing every single day. Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh,
There
that means
we
a
go.
lot. Thank you so much, guys. We're really humble. Thank you.
Awesome, man. And everything is
Awesome.
about supporting and community, man. And that's the reality, right? I mean,
100%.
why to be competing and if we can work together, right? So that's how I see this. I understand this, and that's the way to go. Collaborating, right? That's the new currency. That's how a lot of people say. But
Yeah.
I'll let you finish the call, Sergio, man.
Yeah. Once again, Neander, obviously we're gonna do the just quick breakout room so people can just hop in the room, have that one-on-one with you. The lucky ones, that is for sure. But once again, guys, Neander, thank you so much for coming. And before we wrap it up, if there is one piece of advice that you'll give everybody, what would it be?
Piece of advice, if it's directly multifamily, and I think all of you intend to on the multifamily, like I have this thing that my team here, it's really aligned with me, is we take care of the community takes care of the property, and the property takes care of our investors. So when we have the approach, I'll go to those communities, guys, there are hundreds of people living in there. So it's equivalent to what I have now, about 150 units of our GPs. That is more than probably equivalent to 1,300 people living in there. And, it's not just about the numbers, right? It's about them first. There are not just our residents, but there are clients. So our approach is just to bring the absolutely excellence to our work, to their residents, to providing a clean place. And again, it's not perfect. We face a lot of battles, and we do the best we can. We can't be perfect, but we try the best we can. We just had a program, back to school program, that we did a fundraising for back to school program. And some of the properties that we have a C class, some of them are Bs, but we have some Cs too. And you never know, there's a lot of people in the need there. And to take care of that community there, the full circle now, so just keep that in mind. That's I know we talk about deals, about our wealth, about creating our generational wealth, about our investments, but when you guys about to get deals, man, go look that community, look, what do they need? How can I add value here? Because that is going to close the full circle for sure.
Okay.
Fuego?
Fuego. Once again,
Let's go.
put some fires in the chat if y'all enjoyed it, guys. Please do. I know I had a great time tonight. I want to see 54 flames in the chat times 2, because everybody should be posting like 5 or 10. There we go. Now we're talking.
Yay. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Awesome, man. Okay. Thank you guys so much. So I will see you guys next Tuesday with an amazing speaker coming up. That's going to be amazing. I'm telling you right now, we have that individual coming. That's a guy. It's going to be an amazing. You will learn a lot of value. So, but I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for being here.